Good evening, and welcome to Wells High FYI. I'm Tracy Dickerson.
And I'm Michelle Boudreau.
Nicole, what criteria was needed to be selected for this program?
Mr. Thing approached Roy and I because he thought we'd represent Wells High well, and also because we were both athletes, but he wanted to give us some experience beyond that and beyond our school.
Ryan, what preparation do you and Nicole need to do before going to the UN meeting?
Well, we need to discuss the politics of East Germany and West Germany, and go over things that have happened since the end of World War II, because that's when East Germany was established. And Mr. Thing has given us some handouts and some papers on East Germany and West Germany, but I'd like to do a little bit extra by myself to be more familiar.
Like at the public library or something?
Right.
And why are you studying both East and West Germany if you're only representing one?
Well, it's because there's been recent talk of East Germany and West Germany reuniting as one nation, and I'd like to bring that, up in the Model UN.
Uh-huh. And what are your expectations about this meeting?
I think it would give us better experience with working with a large group of people, especially those that are unknown to us.
Yeah. And Ryan?
I'd like to learn a little bit more about East Germany, West Germany, and the world as a whole. Get insight from the other kids, what they've learned about their respective countries.
Thank you. This has been Karen Lake with Nicole Trincia and Ryan Collins.
The Wells players are working on a performance that will be simply fantastic. The cast has recently been chosen for the innovative theater production of The Fantastics by Tom Jones and Harvey Schmidt. The actors chosen to perform in the show are seniors Casey Hilton, Mark Harnum, Amy Ryan, Leah Debati, Michelle Boudreau, Tracy Hyman, and Kevin Howard. They'll be joined by juniors Lucian Harton and Sarah Sautel. Rehearsals will begin this month, with production scheduled for the first week in April. Here's Adam's voice with Amy Ryan, a member of the cast.
Amy, congratulations on receiving a part for this year's play.
Thank you.
What is the play about?
Well, the play is pretty much your typical love story, but it's different in that it's different from something like Romeo and Juliet, because in this case, the parents of the two young teenagers who are in love want the kids to get married, but they realize that you can't tell a child that you want them to do something or they won't want to do it, so they spend the play pretending that they don't want the kids to get married, and it's really a lot of fun.
What role do you play?
I play the young, love-struck teenage girl.
How will this year's play be different from last year's?
Well, in last year's play, we had a really huge cast. It was one of the biggest that I've ever worked with, and I think we had about 24 people in it. This year, there's a total of 9 people in the cast, so we'll have an easier time getting everyone together to rehearse and get everyone to really work together as a team to make the show go off well.
Okay, well, thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Judging by the large turnout at the Financial Aid Workshop on January 5th, many college-bound Wells High seniors are looking for financial help. The meeting contained valuable information on student loans, grants, and scholarships, as well as help in filling out the financial aid forms. Financial Aid Director at SMVTI, Scott McDonald, ran through the financial aid loan processes and answered parents' questions. More information on financial aid can be obtained in the guidance office. Remember, the time for filling out the financial aid forms is now. In other senior news, graduation is becoming more of a reality to Wells High seniors. Last week, a representative from the University Cap and Gown Company visited the seniors during their lunch period to take orders for graduation announcements. Information packets were distributed to seniors the week before Christmas vacation. Seniors who did not place their order at that time may send their order directly to the University Cap and Gown Company by February 15th. Announcements will be shipped approximately 4 weeks prior to graduation. Michelle?
Anticipation fills the air as seniors get ready for their June graduation. On January 5th, there was a senior class meeting to discuss plans for Project Graduation. Students gathered to decide what they would like to do for this event. Among the proposals were activities such as dancing, games, moving, swimming, tennis for the students to choose from. Senior class president Brian Clark will tell us more on this subject.
I'm here with Senior Class President Brian Clark, who has recently had his hands full with post-graduation night plans. Hi, Brian.
How you doing?
Good. Can you tell us what Project Graduation is?
All right, Project Graduation was started by the Division of Alcohol and Drug Education, which provide the seniors with a night of alcohol-free entertainment for graduation night.
And what plans or suggestions were made for graduation night?
Well, for graduation night, we had 4 suggestions. One was the Winnipesaukee Cruise. We also had Cedardale down in Haverhill, Mass, with also Springvale at the YMCA, and the last suggestion was Clambake.
How were those voted on?
Last week, we had an assembly in the morning with about 90 of our senior students, and we voted by ballots on which one would win. And we had 2 that standed out, which was the Winnipesaukee Cruise and Cedardale. But from a majority of our senior students, they didn't feel that the vote was right, so we had a revote today in our senior English classes, and right now the votes are being tallied up.
Are there any other plans or activities that will be going on that you feel the seniors should know about?
Well, in February, we're going to have our senior seminar, and after that, you know, we still have some plans right now going on for graduation, which haven't really been announced, but are pulling through.
Thank you for sharing that information with us, Brian.
No problem.
This has been Holly McHale reporting for FYI. Now back to the studio.
The super students of Wells High, otherwise known as the Academic Decathlon, will meet on Thursday, January 12th at 2 p.m. This is just a general meeting, according to advisor Charlene Ober, and all members are asked to attend. In another extracurricular activity, Wells High's Academic Decathlon team has been preparing steadily for its meet on February 4th at Deering High School in Portland. The team has been meeting twice weekly and has incorporated the use of other advisors in the areas of math, social science, speech, interview, science, and the super quiz, which is covering the U.S. presidency. Now here's Mike Gergley and Jason Feek with this week's feature.
In past years, there has always been a large turnout of fans at Wells High, whether the team has been successful or not.
But recently, the fans have diminished from a bleacher full of screaming students to a few parents and relatives.
So for all you couch potatoes out there, this is a small glimpse of what you're missing.
Good evening. Welcome to Wells High FYI Sports. I'm Holly Weber.
And I'm Missy Chase. During vacation, while others were running from store to store, perhaps taking advantage of some after-Christmas sales, the Wells High wrestling team continued competitions. 2 days after Christmas, the Warrior Wrestlers competed against 10 other teams in the Belfast Christmas Tournament. While the team as a whole didn't do as well as they'd hoped, with a 4th place standing, they brought home 2 individual first-place winners. Seniors Andy Bear and Nathan Dingle both wrestled their way to first place in the 152-pound and unlimited weight classes respectively. On December 30th, the Warriors improved their standings by clinching 3rd place in the 4th annual Atlantic Invitational hosted by Wells High School. Once again, Bear and Dingle dominated their weight classes and each walked away with first place. FYI News correspondent Karen Link spoke to Bear and Dingle about their accomplishments.
Hi, I'm Karen Lake here with Wells High varsity wrestling captains Nate Dingle and Andy Bear. Nate and Andy recently placed first in 2 tournaments which they competed in over the Christmas break. Andy, what tournaments did you compete in?
We competed in the Belfast tournament, which took place in Belfast. There were 12 teams up there. And we took place in our own tournament here at the Atlantic Invitational, and there were 10 teams here, and it was for the 4th consecutive year.
And Nate, how did your team do in these tournaments?
Well, in the Belfast tournament, out of a possible 12 teams, we placed 3rd. And in the Atlantics, we tied for 3rd.
That's great. And Andy, what team goals did you set at the beginning of the season?
We just want to place as many people in states as we can, and we also want to defend the state championship.
And what personal goals did you set?
I set a personal goal of being undefeated and state champion again.
Okay. And Nate, what personal goals did you set?
As well as Andy, I would like to be undefeated and be a state champion as well.
Well, good luck to both of you. This has been Karen Link with Nate Dingle and Andy Bear. Now back to the studio.
While neither of those losses counted on their regular season record, the Warriors moved to 8-4 with recent losses to Marshwood and Gorham. They are competing at Kennebunk tonight at 6 o'clock. Although the Lady Warriors had little success in their Christmas tournaments, they are finally coming together as a team. Wells gave a strong team effort in an overtime loss to Thornton, highlighted by Jen Morrison's 3-pointers. Their teamwork paid off against Old Orchard Beach with a 57-34 win, and Wells closed the tourney by losing to Trape. When the regular season resumed, Wells came on strong by defeating Greeley 72-50. Greeley, ranked number 1 in Class A, was never in the contest as Wells jumped out to a 19-2 advantage in the first quarter. 5 players scored in double digit, and the second team got some valuable playing time. Tonight, the Lady Warriors play Old Orchard Beach and try to improve their record to 6-3. Wells' next game is on Friday at Cape Elizabeth. Holly?
The JV girls basketball team dropped their record to an even 4-4 as they lost a tough game to Greeley, 26-35. Despite a good effort by Robin Stanley and Renee Carpenter, the aggressiveness of the Greeley girls was just too much to overcome. The girls' next game will be on Friday, January 13th at 6 o'clock. The Wells Warriors varsity and JV teams showed complete contrast last Saturday when they played against the Freiburg Raiders to begin a 3-game road series. The varsity team continued their slump by losing a game that was never too close. After losing to Greeley last week, the Warriors had hopes of improving their play, but were completely shut down by Freiburg's offense, which missed only 3 shots in the entire second half. Freiburg's height proved to be an advantage, since some players towered above Wells center Robert Lambert, who scored 17 points in the losing effort. Wells Junior Varsity, however, could do no wrong, as they simply blew away the JV opponents by a score of 62-21. Led by the spectacular passing of freshman Mike Roach and the scoring of sophomore Jeremy Perkins, the JV boys were able to improve their season record to 6 wins and 3 losses. Their defense held Freiburg to only 1 basket in the third quarter. The next time you're at a basketball game and you hear peppy familiar tunes coming from the stands, don't be too alarmed. The Wells High Pep Band is off to a better late than never start and plan on adding the musical spirit on January 18th when the Warriors face the Wildcats. The band will be playing such selections as Wipeout, Soul Man, Louie Louie, and Land of a Thousand Dances. Missy?
The Wells High cheerleaders will be on the road to Lewiston on January 28th, but this time it's not to cheer on the Warriors. The squad will be participating in the Western Maine Conference cheering competitions. It will begin at 9:30 a.m. and continue until 5 o'clock that day. The 16 schools competing will be split into 2 divisions. The top 4 from each division will compete for the championship. Practice and hard work has paid off last Saturday when the Wells Warriors girls indoor track team competed in their second meet of the season. The girls placed first in a tri-meet against Falmouth, Greeley, and Lake Region. However, the boys team were not so fortunate as they placed third in the meet. More than a dozen young men joined forces yesterday afternoon to help raise money for a special cause. The Wells Warriors wrestling team fundraiser included a sponsored amount of money per push-up and a 1-minute time limit. Head coach Mark Luya, who thought up the idea of collecting donations for former Wells High graduate and 3-year wrestler Matthew Saki, also joined in the fundraiser. Saki was severely injured in a recent automobile accident, and hopefully the money raised will help the family out with hospital or other medical expenses. That's all for this week in sports. This has been Missy Chase
and Holly Weber. Now, here's Krista Ellis for this week's editorial.
Wells High School, being the center of many community activities during the course of a day, has a problem which needs attention. Students and faculty members who arrive at the school after the beginning of the school day often find another car in their parking slot. On days when special activities are taking place, such as games and field trips, this occurrence is quite common. However, I have found from common experience that on the last day of a week, commonly called Friday, this is a popular day for stealing spaces as well. Generally, enraged students and faculty members go to the office after parking in someone else's slot and have the intruder's license plate read over the intercom, but, as usual, the owners never show up to move their car. This is one of the many signs of the student and faculty parking lots which warns violators that they might be towed. However, in my opinion, it seems more likely that they won't be towed since the school seems to carry the policy of all talk and no action. This is Krista Ellis for Wells High, FYI.
The views and opinions expressed in this editorial do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Wells High staff or Wells High School. Buenos noches, or as we say in English, good evening. This unfamiliar language you are hearing is Spanish. Miss Nancy Tautier's Spanish 3 class has become very fluent in communicating with others in Spanish. Her intentions are to get the students to reach out and communicate with a new language on an everyday basis. In experimenting with the Spanish language, 2 members of Spanish 3 will conduct an interview on next week's show. Are you feeling overwhelmed with the college process, schoolwork, or just life in general? For students needing a chance to catch up on their thoughts or just wanting some time to themselves, Wells High School has started a relaxation period. During this session, the students are helped by guidance counselor Ann Blakesley. She plays a mellow-sounding tape for the students while they relax their muscles. The idea originated when Blakesley was interviewing students for their college evaluation and realized they were feeling a lot of stress. Students seem to be much more relaxed after just one of these sessions. Maybe it's just what the students need. Holly McHale spoke to senior Rhonda Brevard about the relaxation groups.
I'm here with Rhonda Brevard, who has had the opportunity to experience Senior Relaxation Group. Hi, Rhonda.
Hi.
Can you tell me what exactly happens during a Senior Relaxation Group?
Well, first of all, interested students have to go up and sign up in guidance office. And then what happens is you listen to a tape which involves a series of exercises which relax your muscles.
Okay. Where does this take place?
It takes place here at Wells High during a period in the day and in an available room.
Okay. Who's in charge of this?
Last year, the drug counselor, Dr. Lucas, was in charge, but this year, Ms. Blakesley has taken over.
Would you recommend this type of relaxation to other seniors?
Yes, I would. It helps you to cope with the stress that comes in your senior year.
Thank you very much, Rhonda. This has been Holly McHale reporting for FYI. Now back to the studio.
Strap on those skis because the outing club is going to Pleasant Mountain. Club advisors David Nordstrom and Pam Parrott will take about 40 students to the new Shawnee Peak on January 25th after mid-year exams. During the fall, the outing club went biking and mountain climbing, and they plan to go on more trips later this winter. On their agenda are cross-country skiing and ice skating. The Lot Home Farm is the site of a science trip planned for Friday the 13th. The trip is sponsored by a mini grant given to Pam Parrott by the high school. 8th, 9th, and 10th grade science classes will be going on the trip. It should last about 2 hours. While the students compile information for their projects, John Keene's 8th grade science class will videotape a walk through and around the farm. while David Nordstrom's Earth Science class and Pam Parrott's biology classes will be observing the area to create a three-dimensional map of the farm. Tracy?
Drug and alcohol abuse is a problem which plagues all society today, and the Ogunquit Rotary Club has joined the fight. Last Wednesday, the Rotary donated a check for $2,500 to the Wells High School, which was received by Principal Val-Jean Olin. The money was used to bring a team from York to talk to the WHS staff during the teacher workshop held today. The team from York consists of members of the York Hospital staff, the York High School principal, and as well as other people from agencies who are involved with the anti-abuse programs in the Seacoast area. Adam Zoy spoke to Principal Val-Jean Olin about the donation.
I'm Adam Zoyce, and I'm here with Co-op Educational Coordinator Robert Roach. Mr. Roach, how did you first become involved with the Ogunquit Rotary?
Well, the Ogunquit Rotary, being in the co-op education, as a coordinator, I got involved with the Ogunquit Rotary mainly because of, working with students academically as well as work-study, bringing them out into the business world. So this would be one area that I wanted to meet all the businessmen, and of course the Ogunquit Rotary, along with the Wells Rotary, offers that opportunity.
What has the Rotary done for the community and the school system?
Adam, that's I could tell you many tales on this. One of the biggest things that probably the entire Rotary group internationally has done is really almost licked polio. They've put out a program worldwide where every boy or girl will be vaccinated in their, as soon as they're born, and that's all paid for through the Rotary Foundation. So that's one thing, that's obviously. They do exchange programs, help the elderly, Meals on Wheels, just about anything that is civic-minded, both Ogunquit and Wells Rotary do, and of course, Rotary International does. Yeah.
Why has the Rotary chosen to donate money to the high school?
Okay, in each town, each particular Rotary likes to do X amount of things civically, for the groups of people, various groups of people. As far as the high schools go, Ogunquit has always wanted to be, help out, certainly as Wells does, with anything that's involved with the high school and such. And lately, just to give you a few ideas of the programs, one has been an art student that has been able to take a course at the Portland Art School, and that's been paid for by the Rotary. Another one was an athletic conditioning strength machine that went to the athletic department at Wells High. That was another contribution. And one of the biggest ones, just recently, of course, has been the drug awareness type program that they donated $2,500 as seed money last year and have added another $2,500 for this year with the hopes that eventually, of course, the school system will take that into and get the program really developing. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for spending time with us.
Adam, my pleasure.
Now back to the studio.
The Wells Ogunquit School Committee started off the year with a new set of plans for the upcoming 89-90 school year. On January 4th, the committee met for a presentation of the year's anticipated school budget for the fiscal 1989-90 year. They will be holding meetings throughout January, February, and March on this proposed budget. A public meeting has been planned for April 26th, while the actual budget meeting is set for May 3rd. In other school-related news, 14 applications have been sent in for the recently opened position of Assistant Superintendent. A screening committee is being planned to view these applications. That's all for tonight. For FYI, I'm Michelle Boudreau.
And I'm Tracy Dickerson.
Good night.